Looks like we're going live. So this is the first time. Welcome to Kenton and Habiba. And let's see how this works out. Hey, how you doing? Hi, Flower. Hi, Mitchie. All the way from New Zealand. Well, bless you. Hi, welcome. This is the first live stream. I know this is a little different. You're just seeing me. So I'll give you the scoop on what's going on. It's all good. So thanks. Yeah, this is out in Greece. So right now it'll be a beautiful time out in the Mediterranean. Hope everyone gets a chance sometime to get out there. Hey, Alexandrina, how you doing? So just to let you know, this is actually we're going to try something new. Yeah, I know. I'm by myself. Well, going to let you know. So we're trying to do something a little different here. So my beautiful wife, she actually was on her way to Florida for a little mini reunion with some of her classmates. I can't believe it. It's been actually by this weekend a 30-year reunion for the class of 2021, and basically 21, 22, and so she was going to go down to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and hey Ann, and to say hi, and to meet up with some of her classmates that she went to school with, starting from freshman year. So, bunch of wonderful ladies, and they were also bridesmaids in our wedding. So she was getting ready on her way to Fort Lauderdale, and as you probably know, there's a tropical storm going on down there with possible flash flooding and so forth. So her flight was canceled, and so she basically was all prepared and packed and ready to go, and got canceled at the last minute. So of course she was very exhausted for that. So I promised her that I would would step in. So and so here I am. So I again, for the audience out there, the love of my life. She's in recovery mode from that sudden change, and she was up all night too, getting ready. So what we're doing is that going live stream, but trying to do something a little different. So I was going to do basically a call-in show, if you want to, if anyone's up for it. If not, it's no problem. The number is 347-762-7587. Just throw it out there. Let you know if there's if there's a question or something or thoughts, you can call in, and so yeah, I'm happy to see you, and just if you want, you can throw in. We're going to try something a little different. So I'd like to mix things up a little bit, and see, and of course, as you know, I may not be as provocative as my wife, and but if you want to go ahead, again, that number is 347-762-7587. And, again, we'll keep things positive, and talk on any subject that you feel comfortable with. And again, it's all about looking at things and trying to get a balanced view. Sometimes it can be very difficult. I know this has been a very rough week with a lot of the terrible, tragic things that have been going on, and so we want to acknowledge those that are suffering. And if you have a chance or even a thought, you can always send well wishes. That's a start. But if you can too, get involved, get educated, whatever side you fall in. I think one of the most important things is just please listen to each other. I think that's one thing that sometimes we miss in our very polarized environment is to, just listen and, save judgment, but really let's try to see if we can find a solution, and, meet a little bit. Sometimes we have to give a little to get, so I think, we don't have to give everything up, but I think to, provide a safe environment for everyone. But when we have our hospitals under attack, our churches, our place of worship, our supermarkets, and in our schools, again, I think that, wherever you go, wherever you think about, you come down on what side, you have to come to understand that we have to do something. So the status quo and the norm is, if it's not working and we keep trying to do the same thing over and again, then it's not good. So so we need to, again, it's just not enough to just talk about positivity. We need to actually exhibit it. So, talk to each other. Do what you can, but stay engaged. I think that's actually the most important thing. One way or another. I was talking to a coworker, and it's like it can get you down, especially when you're a parent. You hear these tragedies. That I think one of the things is that to put yourself back in power, because sometimes can be a hopeless feeling when you see these things happen and you say, what can I do? Is to then do something, because then at least then you take back the power to you. So whether it be as simple as just writing a letter to one of the families, if that's something that you can give at this time, or just getting involved in with your local representatives, or whatever way, it doesn't matter, as long as you feel is to take that power back versus just allowing circumstances to wash over you. So anyways, that's my 2 cents, but again, just want to let that to everyone there. And again, I want to thank everyone joining us. Again, if you want to go ahead and call in, the number is 347-762-7587. Once again, that number is 347-762-7587. So just want to share that with you, and if anyone want to call in, throw in a question, so forth. So, but so Biba's she's just recovering. She's as you know, she's always busy, but she'll have something up hopefully on Sunday, and something in regards to that. I think if you think about her last video, I might have a little bit of a response, and I know for some people they had some questions in regards to, again, relationships. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm no expert on relationships, okay? So other than the fact that I've been in one for a long time. So all I can tell you is that it's just a lot of work and a lot of patience, and being blessed with a forgiving partner. So that's always helpful, because, when you're together long enough, you're going to do some boneheaded stuff. But as long as you have each other's best interests, usually that works out. So, but so again, that number is 347-762-7587. So if you want to go, or if you have a question or something you want to put in the chat, go right ahead, and you can ask me any questions, and I'll try and do my best to bring it up. Let's see. So a flower. So can you explain again what you do for work? I know you went to medical school. So first of all, no, I did not go to medical school. My wife went to medical school, and she's a graduate of the Medical University of South Carolina. I'm actually in law school, so I attend an HBCU, North Carolina Central University School of Law, and I'm actually going into my final year. So prior to that, I did attend Cornell University. That's where I met Habiba. And then I also, when we moved to North Carolina, I received my criminal justice degree out of UNC Pembroke, and then I also attended Master of Healthcare Administration. And then, so currently I work at a healthcare system in compliance, particularly in privacy. So dealing with HIPAA, privacy investigations, those things, and then also as well as physician compliance, where I worked in regards to auditing medical records and working with statutory regulations regarding coding and billing. So, and then prior to that, I was also worked as a practice administrator for the clinic. So I've been doing that for roughly now going on 15 years. So it's been a while. So, oh, you thought we both met in med school? No, actually, we met in undergrad. So we've been together for a long, long time. So yeah, so we've been together. When I first met Habiba, I was 20. So now, so where is Habiba? Well, Habiba's resting. So right now, Gladys, Habiba was getting ready. Hey, Bon, Habiba was getting ready to go to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and as you probably know, they're having a big storm going through there, and a good part of it's going to be hitting later tonight and into tomorrow. So a lot of the flights have been canceled or delayed, and so she had an early flight, and then that got canceled. So yeah, so that's what happened. So she's resting. She was exhausted, and so I am still confused as to what you do. Okay. So, all right. So, how would I break it down? So, basically, in healthcare, being a complex process, and particularly in the United States, but in many places, but in the United States, healthcare is one of the most highly regulated industries in the United States. So, there's a lot of different statutory or legal requirements in healthcare. It's not just the licensing, but because also in regards to payments, billing, and also protections of rights, documentation, information, and so forth. So, for example, where I am currently right now, say you go to the doctor and you get a test done, just COVID, just to give it a simple one that's relevant. So you get a COVID test done, and someone in the clinic sees your test, and they run, they go to the same church as you, and they mention to a friend, you both have a mutual friend, they mention a friend, hey, I saw, Flowers in the clinic the other day, and she had a COVID test. So right there in the United States, we have what is called HIPAA, which is a law, Health Information Portability Act. And basically what that does is that she had violated your privacy, because basically your information, basically your health information, which is also known as protected health information, PHI, is not to be disclosed, used, or accessed unless it's for clinical care or treatment or for a business-related purpose. So for that individual to go ahead and share that information basically violated your privacy rights. So then what happens is that you get wind of it, and you basically call the healthcare system and say, hey, I think my personal business healthcare information was just shared with someone else, and I'm going to file a complaint. So here in the United States, the privacy rights are actually basically managed or housed with the Office of Civil Rights, OCR. They basically do investigations. They file the complaints as the administrative arm of the government, the investigative arm, and if it's to a point of criminality, like identity theft, that falls under privacy as well. Then that goes to the criminal DOJ division. They also do civil actions, fines, penalties, and stuff like that. And so what I do on my side is, as an investigator, is to track that stuff down, see who basically committed the transgression, and then through the investigation filed the necessary recommendations, and usually something like that individual would get terminated, and so that's what we do. So basically, that's part of the investigative process. Then I would file reports with the government because that's a statutory requirement, and so that's an element, and that falls under what is called compliance. Then on the other side, we also have compliance in regards to business and stuff. So a lot of that is, in the long of it is that there's a lot of also legal in it. There's investigatory processes. There's also in regards to training, employee development, and so forth. So that's a small part of it. Besides just the, and so I'm not in operations in regards to like day-to-day operations, staffing, and stuff like that. So I'm in the more of the legal, risk management, protective. In a sense, it's also like asset protection because it's to ensure that we do not have lawsuits and basically governmental fines and penalties that can be assessed. So I'm sorry if that's like a long answer because it's actually kind of complicated, but in a sense. But and again, working in large health systems, and this is part of things. And so in the end, what we do is the bottom line is to protect patients, their rights, and also the integrity of the system. So hey, Al Robinson, how you doing? So, but that's a great question. So. And so that's where the legal part comes in because there's a lot of other pieces that fall into it, particularly in regards to the concept of privacy, and many people don't have a good understanding of that as well as to what are the limits and stuff. So, so I want to again thank you for that question. So with Habiba, so she should be back. So, but everything's good. So she's not. So there's no news, but yeah, absolutely, Flowers. Again, like I said, that's a fantastic question because again, people don't realize, but it's not just about how complicated. It's about also knowing your rights. See, that's the thing. It's many times, it's not like something that's easily explained. And so when you say, okay, what are my rights? For example, because of social media, a lot of times, people get themselves into trouble because they'll go and they say they work in healthcare and then they want to go ahead and post a picture of a patient, or say they take a picture of flowers and balloons, but then they have a patient's wrist bracelet in the shot and stuff. They don't realize that they're violating individuals' privacies. Not to mention also they could possibly create institutional harm, meaning that again, it doesn't look good because you want to go someplace where your business is your business, and it's all part of trust, and that's one of the critical things when you. Just like they say, there's, three things that you really need in life, is a forgiving priest, a smart accountant, and a good lawyer, right? So, and I would throw in there the most important thing is really to have a strong and solid partner. But in talking about professions, so that's what it is. And so trust is very key in the healthcare because you're trusting someone with one of your most important things, and that's your life. And in that, it's also your personal business. So whatever you're going through, you want to keep it between you and your doctor and your healthcare team. And so that's where that goes. And so you want to make sure that you understand what are your rights, but also how to stay out of trouble too. And so that's a critical thing. So I'm planning to have my mom on again. Well, I mean, one thing is that my mother is very shy. So, so it just depends. If we can get out to California, that would be fantastic. It's been a very, very long time, and it's overdue. So again, with all the issues going on, and trying to balance things out, but we hope to be able to do something like that. But definitely, hope to, get together with my side of the family. But it's been a long time coming. But again, there's a lot of moving pieces. I'd like to also see my sister and my father out there. Again, we're going to try to do it before time runs out. But that's something that's on, and it's same for you, same for everyone else out there. Is that when you have a chance, always connect as much as possible, whether it be by phone or have you. But that's also a good thing. But I appreciate you thinking about my mother. So, but she's something else, and also my mother-in-law. Can't forget about her. So she's a force to be reckoned with. So, and again, if you want to call in, this is a live show, obviously. So if you want to call in, we're trying something, and if it works, then when we're back together again, we might, Biba and I might try it again. But the number is 347-762-7587. You know, but yeah, exactly. Where people share information. But again, if people want to share their own information, like a sonogram and so forth, they can, because that's consent. They're choosing to do that. But it would be wrong if a technician goes ahead and shares the image of your baby's sonogram without your permission. See, so that's that kind of thing. And sometimes people forget that just because also, say you're on Facebook and you have a private community and you take a individual's information and you share it, like a picture of them, and say, oh, this is my favorite patient. I'm so happy that they're doing well. And you can clearly see who they are, and they can be identified. Even if it's a private community or even a private chat, I'm telling you, because I already had, with cases and so forth, where that gets shared. As you can see, just like how you see people dig back Twitter messages 10 years ago, just ask Kevin Hart, and everyone else. It's like, once it's put out there, it's almost pretty much forever, and especially if with the cloud. So sometimes you gotta really think about it, how much of the business that people want to put out, and sometimes they do it. And it's one thing, when you're doing it because you're sharing, again, for positivity or for edification or just, for community. Yeah, that's great. But if you're just doing it just to be salacious or, to create, challenges for someone else, then it's going to come back. And so it's not. So in the end, it's just not worth it. So. But you're absolutely right. Sometimes, people don't think about it, and that's how they end up getting in trouble, especially with Snapchat or Instagram, because, again, it's also about respecting boundaries with other people, So, but that's a great point. You have never featured your father. Well, so that is because, again, he's a very private individual. Actually, my father passed away when I was very young. I was actually 10, so my father passed away when I was young. So my stepfather, but he's still my father because he raised us, especially through his tough times. And it was 4 boys, and he was young, and so I offer him tremendous respect and consideration in regards to that. So it takes a special man to come in and build a relationship with a partner, and that already have kids, and to do that and make the best of it, whatever means he has, is that you have to look at someone like that with tremendous respect. So, but with him, again, he's very private, and so again, everyone has different comfort levels. So you have to take that in consideration. So, and same with my mother as well. So sometimes she'll come in, and sometimes again, she can be very sensitive about stuff in regards. So you have to take that in consideration. So, but maybe again as he ages, he might become more comfortable. You'll notice that, with people, as they get older, they tend to be a little bit more vocal about their perspectives or thoughts and stuff like that. So who knows, right? So, but again, so if anyone has a question or they want to call in, it's 347-762-7587, 347-762-7587. So, and but again, if you have anything else, if you want to talk about, and Father's Day is coming up, so thinking about that for those that celebrate Father's Day, and or thinking about doing something special for Father's Day. Usually, when I'm asked what would I like for Father's Day, I just say peace and quiet. I think I like to keep it simple. But if other than that, you can, again, think of creative ways. Um, so for the fathers out there, and also for hats off for those single parents that are wearing both hats, are being mothers and fathers. I don't think it should just be only for a specific gender, because again, there's people out there from both sides that wear both hats. They're to balance that as well as take care of their children and doing it as single parents. So again, want to send a shout out and a blessing to all them as well. So what else is going on? What else is going on besides some of the tough things? So basically, how do you manage through it? Because it seems like every day or every other day is just bad news. So, and that's one of the things is to think about being present. Sometimes, again, as we talked briefly in the beginning, to find ways to get back some of that control. It may seem illusory, but is to, again, stay engaged. I think that's one of the things to, if you want to look at ways to maintain control and have that modicum of direction, and find a way to stay engaged, in regards to your environment and to those around you. Avoid toxicity. That's the other thing, because that's going to drag you down. So if again, there are some people that are just always looking for a fight. Everything's a fight, and that's fine and all, but it's absolutely exhausting. You can tell, because if you go into a conversation with someone and you walk out and you're just exhausted, then that's I can't do this every day, all day, every week. So okay, so let's see, when will we come to Africa? Oh, that's a great question. We've been talking about that, coming to Africa. So it's just a question of timing, in regards to again, with some of the uncertainties of travel from our side, but we're trying to coordinate that. And it's also just timing for ourselves, because in the next year we have a lot going on in regards for the family. Like I said, I'm working towards and going through my final year in law school, so May. But then Kareem, our son number 2, will be graduating. So it's amazing. So he's going to be graduating college next year. And my son number 1 is working, and hopefully we will know, but he's working on medical school. And if everything goes well, he'll be starting that in the fall. So, and then sweet Miriam's she's going to be the last one standing. She's going to be going into her senior year. So she'll be finishing up her junior year. So she's almost done as well. So we have a lot going on in the next 12 months. So we'll see. And because then also have the bar exam in July, and then from there. So with all those changes, it's just trying to figure out where in the time to go to Africa. But we definitely want to go to Africa, especially to come and see Bello, Biba's father, because we're all getting older, and so it's very important. So yeah. Let's see. What do you like most about being married to Biba? Okay, here we go. So this is the thing. That's the thing about Biba. She's always playing. Always got to be playing. So you're not going to do this, because I tend to be more of the behind-the-scene person. So I say, no, I promised, because again, the whole thing was that she was going to be in Florida, living her life, and so I was going to hold down the fort. So I said, okay, I'm going to try, because again, with the wonderful community we have, and again, thank you all. So here we go. So she goes, what is like most about being married to Habiba? Okay, well, there's so much. So where do I start? Well, first of all, uh, the fact that she always puts me on the spot. You're absolutely right. So that's the one thing, and this is the other thing. She's extremely spontaneous. Spontaneous is really the correct way to say it. See, she throws me off because I'm sitting there going like, I can't even talk. She's sitting there typing stuff in. So so it's like I never know. Every day is a new day with her. So that's the funny part. So that's the thing. She's fresh. But I think the other part is that she's just a very wonderful person. She's extremely kind and considerate. And to be, just be quite frank, say is just that, she's everything that I would say that embodies a good person. And that's why, you know, um, she's just a very, very, very wonderful person. So, and she's very caring. So I think that's part of it. So now, see, I'm a little curious about being that my family's from Jamaica. I found it strange. Why did your father-in-law stay in a hotel when he came to visit? Are we still on that? My father stayed in a hotel when he came to visit. Okay, so well, again, I don't know why that keeps coming up. But see, first of all, there's a couple reasons. Um, One was that it's also about in regards to his convenience. He wanted to be able to be comfortable, and to also have his own space in regards to that. Because where we were in Carborough, two, it was also just a technical side of things in regards to trying to coordinate um, basically uh, uh, the space of living space, because it would eventually have displaced um, members of the family and so forth. So that's part of it, and so it's just trying to make it where it would make everyone as comfortable as possible. Because mind you, at that time too, Bashir and Barbara had also come down, so we wanted to try to keep everyone as comfortable as possible. And so here, and also let me let you know too, he didn't spend that much time in that hotel room. Okay, so I think that's the other thing you have to think about is that space was really just for sleeping purposes. Because the moment he was up, I was at the front door, a cup of coffee, and it'd be at 7 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. I was there, so I made sure that he was, he had his, itinerary, his travel. So he, basically whatever things that he needed done, I showed him around town. So he literally hardly spent any time in that hotel room. So I think you have to understand that, again, um, it's not to show any disrespect or anything. It's just that it was something that he was, made him comfortable, but at the same time, he had a personal attendee, i.e., me. So who was very happy to take him around, and we actually spent some time talking about things and stuff. So, that was also the blessing stuff where he and I could actually have moments alone and stuff like that. So yeah, so again, it's all about how it works for everybody, and so it may not work for you, so that's fine. But again, it's also about what works for him, and again, he the only time he really spent there was if he had to take a nap or overnight. So that's in a nutshell. So I hope we can put that question to rest. Okay, so I appreciate that. So who's the funniest family member? Couldn't tell you. Could be anybody. It depends on the moment. So, but thanks, L. Robinson. I appreciate that. Uh, and did he pay for his own hotel room? Of course not. But yeah, no, he didn't. So again, that's the whole thing. No, of course not. So we took care of it, just like everything else. Meals. When he was our, he was my guest. He was Biba's father, and so he had utmost respect. And like I said, the moment he was up, I was outside, a cup of coffee, and basically waited for him, and I took him everywhere he wanted, and whatever his needs were, and that's how we had handle it. Different people handle things differently. But for me, it was like, again, wanted, also out of respect, and you know, that's just how we did it. So, because again, there's different ways to show respect. So you don't have to, I'm not, short of making his bed. We're not gonna do that. So, but we were, I was absolutely there. So, I enjoyed it actually because I got a chance to, talk to him a little bit and get to understand his side you know, so yeah, that's the thing. It's like you gotta meet people where they are. So he's a very interesting individual, he's, his experiences and stuff like that, and whatever the differences and so forth at the end, from my perspective, again, as a third party, as an in-law, I'm here to just, provide, support and understanding on both sides, and just it is what it is, and you just, work with people where they are. So yeah, and the question sounds like it comes from Sokoto. You're probably right. That's the other thing. Why you stay at a hotel? Accused trade. And that's the other thing too. I think if you're coming from Sokoto, ask him. I don't think he was upset. So he was comfortable. And he was able to, again, like I said, he didn't spend much time in a hotel. So you got to understand, now if it was like, look, you would have an issue if like he stayed in like, a Days Inn or something like that, or if he was in like, in a sketchy part of town, but that wasn't the case. So he was in a Hilton, and one of the newer model hotels that they just built. So it was actually a suite, so it had a little kitchen in it and everything. So, anyways, but again, we're beating a dead horse. So I hope you can let that go and move on. If not, well, good luck to you. So yeah, culturally it would be an insult. I would agree with you. Culturally, it would be an insult, but not if again, this is the part of guests, is that it would be an insult if like, oh yeah, you're right, but again, he didn't pay for the hotel, he didn't pay for his meals, and why should he? See, that's the whole thing, So no, absolutely not. We didn't do that, even after it's been 20, 30, whatever years, and he never acknowledged his grandkids. He never. And that's the other thing too. But again, see, that's the thing. Many times what happens is that when these situations come up, what's interesting I find, especially when I see some comments and so forth, but I understand, is that sometimes these things can trigger someone's perspective on it because you're bringing in your own experiences, and like you said, Flowers, your own cultural perspective. And so then it creates like, well, we wouldn't do this, we wouldn't do that. And culturally, from your side, I agree with you. You're right. It can be viewed as an insult. But that's why you have to look at things in what we call the totality of the circumstances. You have to look at it to have a balance, and that takes more mental work. It's easy to just discount and say, well, this is wrong, it shouldn't be. Just like when I find when men make judgments in regards to relationships that, well, women should think this way, or of course, a man should have, if he has multiple wives, what would a woman expect? And I always think about it, it's like, well, what if we flip it? What if instead of a patriarchal world, what if we were a matriarchal world and a woman could have multiple husbands? How would you think? The first thing a guy would think was that's impossible. That could never happen. Well, why not? So it's like, see, that's the thing. See, if you flip it, and the converse, creates that conflict. So is it really the issue when you convert it? No, it's really your frame of mind, your perspective. It's meaning that it's okay for you, it's not okay for the other person. So then it's really more of a subjective issue versus the actual material fact. So some of those things that's part of critical thinking. And some of the things that you kind of have to think about is like, so is it really that I'm thinking of it because it's based on some sort of objective value system, or is it really more, subjective thing that if it works for me, it's for me. If it doesn't work for me, then you're wrong. So that's the kind of thing you have to think about. So, okay, plus we were one bathroom short. Oh, see, my wife's chiming in. So she wants to explain it. Look, you don't have to explain it. One bathroom short. We had an outhouse. We had some goats. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can put all those things in. The bottom line is that we open our hearts and our home with grace and love, and that's all that matters. Because, in the end, we only have so much time on this earth, and you can hold on to all the pain and hatred in the world. It's not going to change that. And sometimes you have to step back and say, like, is the fight worth the battle? And that's really what you got to think about. It's like, really, because sometimes what happens is that we get so mad with each other, we get so mad with our family, that then years go by, and then we go look back and go like, was that really what all that was about? Now some things are serious. I mean, serious, like, basically physical trauma, sexual trauma, stuff like that. And those require therapy and healing and stuff. So I'm not, those things go in a different box, okay? So I'm not generalizing. I'm not saying, oh, live and let live. So some people say that too. Oh, the past is the past. Again, totality of circumstances, contextual stuff. You got to take things case by case. So, you got to think about things a little bit. But so in this particular situation, again, it's the same thing. It's sort of like, you know what? He's grown. We all get older. We start thinking of things. We can either hold on, or we can try to, hey, look back and say, let's move on. So thinking about that. So yeah. So I think that, yeah, it is. It's touching. It's to sit there, and sometimes when we have relationships we've broken, sometimes we have to sit and go like, what can we do? Now, if the other party doesn't want to have a relationship, you can't make someone have a relationship with you. But if you can sit there, and even in baby steps, just try to have an understanding. And, and honestly, sometimes you just can't. You can love someone, but that doesn't mean you have to always be with that person. I know that's hard to understand. I know culturally for some people is that, but not everyone gets along. You still have personality conflicts. You may even have value system conflicts, I mean, I don't know. Some people have some sketchy relatives. A cousin out there that's just gets themselves into trouble. And, it's like you love them because they're family, but that doesn't mean you want to always, open up your bank account to them, right? So it's like you got to create boundaries. So that's the same thing. It's just like, and that's individual. So whatever boundaries you see and so forth. So what? Is Habiba more like her father or like her mother? What Nigerian qualities does she possess? First of all, if Habiba's asking these questions, that's rhetorical. She's asking to herself. What would I know? First of all, I don't. It's like I don't know her father. So first of all, well, I know of him, but I don't know him. So how can I say she's like him? And is she more like her mother? Yeah, because she's a woman. How about that? End of story. I mean, it's driving me nuts, sweetie. Okay, let's see. You look more like a typical house lady. I see a lot of similarity as you talk. Okay, that's not to me. Because see how I sounded when I read that comment? You look more like a typical house lady. ABK, you confused me. You had, if you put a Biba, you look more, it would help me out. See, I just read that I look more like a house lady. And I know for a fact I don't, because house women are very elegant and beautiful. So as in all, well, that's my personal, black women, but, all ladies of color, brown, and and black. So, but anyways, so you see, now you get me going on. Thank you very much for that. Okay. So, anyways, so, hey, you're handling this modeling too for each other. You could have the whole thing. No, she's helping me. Thank you, ABK. No, Bia was helping me because she's typing in, and you know what? That's how mischievous she is. Because that's the other thing about her. She's extremely mischievous. She's always playing around. So it's like, so I know she's typing in stuff and getting me in trouble. let's see, homekeeping must be from your mother. Maybe, telling us from both dad and mom. You are a boss lady like your mother. Okay, again, see, I'm sitting there reading it down, and now you are a boss lady like your mother. See how does that sound when I read that? So that's Habiba. That's someone writing that about Habiba. So that's how that works. Oh, I see flowers. That is very true, but unfortunately, our culture is so heavily ingrained in us that we suffer ourselves. Yes, that's a good point, and so sometimes that is a challenge. Basically, yeah. If that's all you know, and that's your culture, and that's the expectation, and you live in it, so it makes it can be very very challenging. How do you do that? So especially if it's a culture that the expectation is for a woman to be home and not be educated, or to be married at a very young age, like 14. Okay, so and now with how with social media and so forth, where everyone can have TikTok, everyone can have Instagram. So you're seeing a lot of images and so forth, and so it can be very challenging. And so that's one of the things is that how can an individual in a culture that is group based or community based allow for the individual to develop, but at the same time not be threatened that it will undermine some of the cultural values? Because again, that's the thing. Every culture has its uniqueness, but it also has its value systems that are plus and minus. It's not about one culture has everything, and it's not. Each culture has its challenges, and each one has its blessings. And so it's trying to find that space where the individual can be as much as their authentic self, but at the same time celebrating their culture, and the uniqueness of those cultures, So like Ghana, Jamaica, all the wonderful people and stuff like that. So so that's that balancing, and for immigrants, when we come to America, that's the same thing as being American, but at the same time honoring our ancestors and those that have preceded us, and celebrating that what makes a part of us, because you can't throw that away either. So you're absolutely right about that, flower. Yeah, and sorry, I've been Abby. Of course, I know you mean. I'm just joking around, ABK. I'm not criticizing you or anything. I know you're doing that. So no, I'm just being silly myself. I'm just goofing in the sense that when I read it, I'm putting that out. So oh yeah, stay blessed. Hi. So you're just joining us. So where's Abiba? So yeah. So just this is a confessional. So yeah, I ate her. So there you go. So I hope that goes viral. I ate my wife. So and that's where we're at. So and now I fled to Greece. So that's where you see it. So I'm on a little boat in Greece, and I don't know if they have extradition, but that's what it is. So yep. But I think that she's reaching out and texting from beyond. So that's where we're at. But actually, really, actually, she's taking a break. So she had a long day. She was about to travel out, and then there was a storm out in Florida. So she's taking a break, and so she's resting. But her fingers has enough strength in it that she's texting in little messages and stuff to keep me going. So what am I going to do? Oh, here we go. So at what age do you is sex no longer important or necessary? Really? Do we have to go there now? What age? You know what? First of all, yes. Someone. All right. I need to get I don't know how I'm going to do that. Get a lock on her phone, but I don't do that. So, yeah. What age is sex? What age sex no longer important and necessary? I'll tell you what age. Death. That's the age. There you go. I tell you, what I hear is that older people have more sex than younger people. Do you believe that? Who believes that? Look at that. Yeah, I know. I am getting red. My ears are hot. That's what happens. Drives me nuts. So yeah, actually they do. Well, one, you don't have fear of pregnancy, so that tosses that out. So you don't have to worry about that. So so for you guys out there, you don't have to, as they say, worry about going raw. You can that, and then I hear also, older women, they actually feel more free. They don't have to worry about, again, the same thing, pregnancy and all those things, and you also have the maturity of knowing what you like, what you don't like. You become more adventurous. I don't know, but that's what I read. No, actually not. Someone told me. Actually, Habiba, I think probably. I don't know. I'm not, I don't know. All I know is that people, to sit there again, it's like creating these boxes. People, hey, there's no hard fast rule. You do what you can when you can, as long as you can. It's just like thinking you don't know what you got until it's gone, right? So if you can walk, run. If you could run, jump. So same thing. If you can, love your partner and be free and do it all with respect and honor, do it. Because yeah, someday you won't be able to do it, and then you're gonna be like, damn, I could have done that, or I could do this. So, nope. Express yourself, be healthy and safe, and all this age stuff. So, as a culture has determined who we marry, career choice. Yeah, that's a tough one. So yeah, and that's exactly it. And it's like in some cultures it is like that, especially if it's very patriarchal. It's based upon values. But you know what? That's also in the United States. Actually, if you look at if it's just like with anything, many of the family laws are based in very patriarchal value system. There was a time where the wife had no rights. And this wasn't like, we're not talking about like 500 years ago, 400 years. This was like at the turn of the not in the early 1900s. Especially when America was mostly an agrarian society. Basically, a woman had literally no rights in regards to property and so forth. The conveyances of living. So the man had those duties, and so the woman didn't have such things, and so if a man divorced a woman, he didn't have the serial obligations that they do now in regards to caring for it, except for the modicums of whatever he deemed was necessary. So basically, yeah, those things as well. And that can even extend it to raising children and so forth. So, yeah, so it's pervasive in majority of cultures in regards to rights and stuff like that. And so that's where again, laws and so forth are subjective. They're formulated and created to reflect the dominant value. So, and that's just part of the awareness. What is the dominant value? And if you go through that kind of analysis, you start then going, wait a minute, who says this or who says that? Like you say, what culture? But what makes culture? Because that's really the core of it. I mean, it's of course we know the definition of culture. It's a set of normative values that are accepted and reinforced by the group. But the thing is like, but who determines that? Who part? And so then we really start then breaking it down. Is that it's those that who have the power. And what is the power? The power to do what? The power, economic power, social power, structural power, like the government and legal system. Distributive power. Who gets what? Who gets the land? Who gets the food? Who gets the jobs? So if you start breaking those down, you start seeing the pattern. Then you realize, okay, this is what we're talking about. So I'm going to ignore my wife's last comment. So I have no idea, and I'm not even going to address that. So you can move on, honey. I'm not going to address that one. So, anyways, she's just something else. So again, so the heart of the matter is that again, and who creates the culture stuff is they again looking at where is then is the seat of the determination from the power. And then once you determine that, then you can sit there and go like, okay, where would change occur? How can it occur? In what way? Let's see. So, okay, let's see. That is hilarious. So, yeah, thank you. That's, yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like you can't assume. See, that's the other thing too. I think it's also part of that. When you're in a youth-based society or youth value society, it's basically, oh, if you're young, everything is evaluated based on that. Especially if it's a culture based upon beauty, some preposition of wealth. That's the valuation system. But what it misses is that, again, then we miss the side where with age is wisdom, and with age comes what's called historical knowledge, cultural knowledge, because that's how you end up repeating the same stuff over again, because again, you're not connecting with your elders, who are in a way are also gatekeepers to the past, so that helps you also to plan and develop your future. So instead, we end up repeating the same mistakes and stuff because we don't have or tapped into our historical knowledge from our elders, So we repeat the same lessons and so forth. So yeah, but that's a great story. Yeah, it's just like you can't. Now getting caught though in the library, that's pretty bold, Yeah, having relations in the library. Wow. Okay, how has not having your biological father made you a better father to your kids? I have no idea. I don't even know what that means. Not having my biological father made you a better father to your kids. So, I don't know. I don't know. Not having my biological father, I guess, has made me a better father. I couldn't tell you if it did or didn't, because all I can tell you is, the only people that can tell me if I was a good father is going to be my children and my wife, Habiba. So all I can say is I humbly did the best I could with what I had, and we all make mistakes. So that's all I can say from that. So I'm not gonna, again, I think like anything with. If there's one thing about parenthood is that, our role is sometimes to screw up our kids as much as we got screwed up. So maybe, it's that's just try to avoid doing that. But what if you don't know? What if you don't know how screwed up you were, or you got? Because again, that's all you knew was your parents. I don't know. See, that's the thing. It's like, so that's where it takes quite a bit of self-awareness, and it doesn't come easy. So you got to live a little bit, and make mistakes and own up to them, and But I tell you, I'm far from perfect. So that's the truth. So all I know is that I just try to be as honest and transparent as I can, and have my kids and my wife's best interest in mind, and go from there. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. So yeah. So but yeah. So yeah. So that's so that. But I'm not quite sure. I would have to think about that one. So, but sometimes what happens is I think in the bigger picture is that loss can inform us to, if we open ourselves to it, to loss in a sense of gives us greater compassion for things in regards, in some ways, is to the brevity of the fragility of life, and not to take things for granted. That's one lesson. Also, it allows you to also see the vulnerability in others, and so it just makes you pause a little bit before just jumping headlong. That's a lesson that took me a while to learn, but so I think those are some of the takeaways from that. But yeah, I don't know, I would have to think about it. Yeah, exactly. Libraries are location for sapiosexuals. So maybe your mother was a sapiosexual. So so kudos for her, and for being active. So that's fantastic. So let's see. All right, ABK, let's see. It takes any man to be a father, but it takes more than DNA to be a dad. Yeah. It must have been learned from your stepdad, and I'm sure he's been a wonderful role model for you. Um, yeah, no, I think he was a good role model. But to be honest with you, I wasn't in a position at that age to learn from him. So, to be quite frank, because from the time that my father passed away when I was 10, much into my early adulthood, I was a very angry individual. Um, and I don't think any lessons that I was not a good student of life. So I'll be quite frank with you. So that's the other thing. So if there's anything, any lessons I give to anyone is what not to do. So that's why I don't hold myself in any way as an expert stuff. If anything, that's why why we do these things is the conversation is what we learn from each other. I learn as much from you, and as I humbly would say, if anything, I share with you, you learn from us, more from Habiba, not less so from me. So, but I would say that for me, it's like I learn as just as much as interacting with anyone because that's the thing. But I wouldn't say because if I did learn something, I probably would have be a better person much quicker. So that is something that. But yeah, he is. But other than that, yeah, he's a very good person and an honorable man. And I think that's a critical thing is to live with honor. And so I think that those things. So yeah, that I agree with you that. So I could have been a better son. I would have to say that at the time. But your point is well taken in that. So, so where are we at? Oh my God, it's 6:46 already on the East Coast. That's nuts. I didn't realize I've been on this long. See, you get me going, and then I start carrying away. So, anyways, like I said, the number was 347-762-7587, and that I was hoping someone would call in just to see if the live the live call-in would work because I tested it out with my daughter, so I was hoping that someone would call in. So I was hoping again. I'm gonna throw it out, and if not, then we'll try it next time. But it's 347-762-7587. You don't have to give your name out. You don't have to. You can sit there, and even if you just want to say hello, that's fine. But that's something that I want to be able to do is to also get your questions in because it's always good to hear people's voices too, especially from Africa, from the Caribbean, Jamaica, all over the United States, England, also New Zealand, all of our wonderful people out in New Zealand. Just want to shout out to them and the wonderful things they're doing over there. So yeah, absolutely. So again, if you want to do that, that'd be great. So, but I really appreciate you guys. So I think that we're going to go ahead and I'll give you one more chance. If no one calls in, then I'm going to go ahead and wish you all the best and hopefully. Oh, okay. Here, let me give you. It's 347-762-7587. So 347-762-7587. Oh, and the UK, absolutely. So, well, it's great to have you, ABK, from the UK. That's a great handle. You should use that if you have a podcast. So the number again is 347-762-7587. So, yeah, 347-762-7587. And flowers from Los Angeles. Oh yeah, hey, we're in Los Angeles. I grew up in the Valley, in Northridge. That's where I grew up my early childhood, and then so yeah, so I know that Reseda, Woodland Hills, that area. He said, no problem. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. If you're comfortable, if not, that's why go ahead, put your questions in the chat, because that's the thing. We're trying to open up. You are not as angry now. Why? Because my wife writes questions to me to see if I am angry now. Habiba, stop. Why you texting me these things? You are not angry now. Why? Maybe because I don't have any energy anymore to be angry. How about that? They got sucked out of me. The life force has been sucked out of me. How about that? That's why I don't have any anger, because I get tired. Oh, wait a minute, someone's calling in. Here we go. Hi, welcome. You're live on
ABK.
the Kenton and
To
Habiba.
accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hey, welcome to the Kenton and Habiba live stream. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Good evening.
Is it evening for you?
Yeah, it's evening. I'm in UK, 11:51 now.
Wow. How's the weather
Yeah,
there?
it's all right. I was just enjoying your program,
Oh
and I
yeah.
said I was gonna call.
Oh great. Oh, is this ABK?
Yeah, that's it. That's
That's it.
it.
All right. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Yeah,
you.
thank
And
you. Thank you. I mean, I watched your video, the reunion, and it brought back something in my past, and I had to address it. And so ever since then, I've been watching your vlog, following Habiba and you, and try to keep in touch as much as possible. And that's why I said I was going to call. I mean, when I saw the number, I said, okay, I'm going to try and call. Being the first person to call today.
that's right. You're the very first. So you just made history. How do you feel about that?
I am fine. Thank you very much.
You're funny. So, hey, do you want to share a little bit about yourself? So, what's
Yeah, I'm from Nigeria as well, but I'm from the southwest, and Abiba's dad is from the northeast. I'm from the northwest. Yeah, Sokoto is northwest, so I'm just right bottom of Sokoto. I was born in Lagos,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm from yeah, but I've lived in UK for the past 22, 23 years now.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
came, yeah.
So, do you travel much back to your family and friends in Nigeria?
Yeah. I do. I traveled much, but these days my mom lives in New York, so I do travel to New York. I'm even coming to New York again in next month.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
That's great. So,
yeah,
and how's she liking New York right now? I know it's kind of a strange time over there right now.
yeah. She's been there. She's been living in New York since 1989.
Hmm.
So she moved there for better life, and so she's been living in New York for me. So I went to see her a few times now, and after this period of pandemic, I'll be going for the first time again in 3 years to see her.
Well, that's fantastic. So that's great. So you
Mm.
have siblings in New York or in the UK?
Yeah. I have siblings everywhere, all over the world.
That's the beauty of being Nigerian, right? You got family
Yeah,
everywhere. It's like Jamaicans.
that's yeah.
Yes, that's that's
We
so
we tend to
beautiful.
migrate. That's why we say to people, if you go to any place in the world and there's no Nigeria there, then it's not existing.
Yes, you're in trouble. Right, exactly. That means that there's no. Well, first of all, it tells you there's no economy. If there's no
Yeah, that's
Nigerians,
it.
that means there's no business. Yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, sure,
But you know what
sure.
that means too is that that's impossible because I tell you one thing: if you put a Nigerian somewhere, there's going to be a business.
Of course, we're
So
very
that's right.
creative-minded people.
That's the beauty. Jamaicans and Nigerians. You put them in a desert. Guess what? You're gonna have a water stand. You're gonna have a food business, probably an entertainment. Someone's gonna do
Mhm.
music. So I mean,
Of
you're
course,
basically gonna have everything short that you're gonna need for a city is gonna already be there.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
that's
thank you
good.
so much. I really appreciate you.
You're
You have
welcome. Thank you for keeping us company in the evening. Thank you very much. You
no, no,
don't.
absolutely. And like I said, just so if this is what I'd like to see us do is to exactly touch base and then also share with each other. And
Yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
absolutely, anything. But God bless you and your family, and it's fantastic to hear
And you
from you.
too. Yeah, keep safe.
You
Thank you
too.
very much. Have a
All
lovely
right. Take
evening.
care, ABK. All right.
Bye.
God bless.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, folks. Well, here, I just want to say, fantastic. And just want to let you know. So we're heading going to the top of the hour here, heading on to 7. So just want to let everyone go. Have a wonderful evening, and blessings to everybody. And thank ABK for calling in. And again, everyone else out there from all over the world. And we'll keep it going. And next time, Habiba will join us. If not, she'll go ahead. And also from Trinidad and Tobago, we love you all you wonderful people out there. So go ahead and take care of yourselves. And like I said, Habiba is always going to keep us going. So God bless everyone and take care, all right? And have a wonderful evening.